Perfect.
It's happening. Episode is on its way. Sorry it's been 2 weeks, but we had some shit to do. Like a live podcast. Next one, July 18th at the Key at the Union Arcade. See you soon. Episode dropping early Friday.
1 2 1 2 microphone check 1 2. This is me. This is me.
Chicka 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 choo choo. Hey 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 hey. So let's see. I want to talk about they're using like family tree, ancestry and stuff like that to solve murders. Sex work, and then I actually don't have any like silly things. Basically, they found the cast for Space Jam 2. That's kind of a filler. And then my speaking soccer is about the Women's World Cup. And then Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren's student forgiveness plans. Comparing and just talking about that in general. It's happening. Episode. And you want to talk about Euphoria?
Yeah, that's it, really.
That's it?
I talk about whatever you said.
For sure.
That program, but the only thing really hitting on my head was just watching that.
Let's start off with advertisements, get those out of the way. Intro, talk about the live podcast, the next one coming up. And then just go from there.
So you want to say the advertisements? You want to do the advertisement then the intro, or just the intro and then the advertisement?
Probably the advertisements and then the intros.
Alright.
And then so I did confirm the creations by Oz, so I have all their information written down.
Alright, go ahead and knock them all out, bro.
Gotcha.
Knock them out the box.
Alright.
1 2 1 2.
Hey, Peter Piper, big guy. Okay.
Say something else again.
Hey.
Alright.
Yo. Ha. Yeah, that's perfect.
Stuck in the middle podcast. Stuck in the middle podcast.
Stuck in the
Push the red button. Ready? Stuck in the middle podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by Boonies on the Avenue in Muscatine, Iowa. It is the bar with the motto, be nice or leave, with delicious food, burgers. They have these delicious fried pickles. They have these Bavarian pretzel breadsticks with this like cheese dip that goes with it. So delicious. They have 2 levels, so they're in a side room, so you can throw parties, events. I was actually just in a music video shoot upstairs down at Boonies for the band Eugene Levy, so shout out to you guys. 2 mini televisions, beautiful place, great servers, amazing family. Make sure if you ever get down there, make sure you tell them that Stuck in the Middle sent you guys. Also brought to you by Sugar Peach Chicken and Fish Fry in North Liberty, Iowa. Iowa Soul Food Restaurant. anything that you need to make you feel like you're down south, they got fried chicken, baked chicken, fried catfish, spaghetti as a side dish, greens and cornbread, fried okra, mac and cheese. They have fucking jambalaya, dirty rice, like anything and everything. A peach cobbler. The family there, amazing husband and wife, worked very hard to build up this culture. It's a little bit of the South here in good old Iowa. So go ahead and check out Sugar Peach. Let them know that Stuck in the Middle podcast sent you. And we have a brand new sponsor. Creations by Oz, also in Muscatine, Iowa. Melissa Osborne, amazing lady. I walked in there on accident one day, just wandering around, and she has so many cool things in there. I actually have a couple of J pieces and this nice, curvy, bootylicious lady as necklaces on you. She has handmade cigars. Wine, her wine distributor, they make sure that they bring wines that really can't get anywhere around. She makes silverware, apothecary stuff, delicious flavored oils. Basically, you go in there and you go, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for, and she's got you. She throws parties because she has a side room. She has an Airbnb, soap making, sip and paint parties. Like it really is like a diamond in the rough. I love that place. I love Melissa. What she does in Muscatine, just in most cities, would kind of be one of a kind. So the fact that it's in Muscatine is like, it's needed. So check out Creations by Oz. If you get out there, you see Melissa, give her a shout out. Tell her Stuck in the Middle Podcast Center.
Yeah. What up? You know who it is, Stuck in the Middle Podcast. We back, down, live show in. You know how it goes, Stuck in the Middle Podcast. I don't even know what episode this is.
Bro, I wrote it down. This is episode 80.
Oh, episode
80.
Zero, bro.
Hey, so shout outs. That beat is from DJ King Supreme. So we appreciate you for making this beat for us. This is a one of a kind. This is Stuck in the Middle official.
Yeah, official intro music.
Hey, we out here.
Yeah, exactly. You know who would be, Fat Boi, CrunkChocolate.
It's me.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody missed it, but we did have a live show a couple weeks back on Thursday.
Couple weeks? You mean last week?
Last week?
Yeah, it was just last Thursday.
Last Thursday. See, I'm out. I mean, it actually went better than what I expected.
Bro, he was lit after.
I'm the more, like, you know, I don't know.
Pragmatic is the easiest way to call it.
And then I didn't know I'm going off of history. And history, when we first tried to do something like this, it wasn't the greatest showing. It was kind of a thrown together type of event, the first one. But this one right here was more in-depth, more thought out, you know, more spreading of the word. It's a little bit of easier access for most of our friends down here in Devon. I mean, well, it's in Rock Island, but, you know, in the Quad Cities area. And it turned out to be a fantastic event, I thought. I mean, I had a lot of fun, but I'm not going to lie. At the beginning of it, I did drink about maybe 3 whiskeys on the rocks.
Yeah, he was just smashing them bitches.
Let me get me a little loose, you know what I'm saying? You know,
get a little comfortable.
Yeah, but I can't do too much. You know, I knew my limit. I knew I was like, all right, let me get 3, and I started feeling a little nice, and I was like, all right, we can do this.
All right, we're good.
And then, you know, we popped it off, and I appreciate everybody that came out. We did have about 30 plus people, so I was extremely happy. We got a little couple shirts from the merch and everything, which is going to be at the next show. Yeah,
shout outs to Underground Daydream.
Yeah.
They're the brand, the company who has put together our own Stuck in the Middle personal shirts, and then he brought some of his own merch that he's been working on.
And my daughter has been wearing it, and it's kind of funny to see her in my shirt, but we definitely going to bring some designs to it. We're going to have some concepts there. So stick with us, and as soon as we get this thing up and running, you can, you know, help us out in any way, shape, or form, and purchase a shirt to, you know, represent for us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah. So
the next event it's coming up is July 18th. That's at the Key at Union Arcade. It's downtown Davenport.
Ooh, right.
Hey.
And then, you know, we can go hit it up at the bars afterward.
Hey, you know, we just do a Stuck in the Middle bar crawl after that bitch.
Yeah, you know, to midnight, 11.
Yeah, you know, because it is on a Thursday. It is a Thursday night.
Yeah, all the events going to be on a Thursday, which works out perfect.
Yeah.
Keep it consistency.
We were done by what, like 9:05, 9:10?
No, we were done at 9:30.
Oh shit, it was late.
No, it was 9. You're right.
Yeah, no, it was like it was.
It's 7.
We all
doors
chatted
open up
after.
at 7. Show starts at 7:30. It's about an hour and a half in. We don't want to be too much for you guys, but if you want to hang out and talk to us more, you can do that. So we are trying to stick to the schedule of 7:30 to 9, and once we're done, you can decide to stick around, have a drink with us, go downtown, have another drink with us, or you can go home and have a nice little evening, have the conversation or discussion of what you saw at the live show.
Yes.
Maybe spread and tell some friends.
Yes.
And then, you know, we can grow from there.
Yes. So all the people who did show up, appreciate you guys. We're looking forward to seeing you guys next month and maybe bringing some friends with. Again, this is a free event, so.
Great.
So you guys just come and hang out and have a good time with us. Experience us instead of just like listening. We get to hit all of your senses. You get to see us visually. You get to smell us, which, depending on how you feel about like colognes and stuff like that, I mean, I think I smell good. So
Yeah, everybody always think they smell good
yeah, right.
until they smell like booty.
I mean, that is not the cologne I purchased, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, you purchased, oh, I forgot now. What is it called? Oh, shit, I forgot. I used to say it all the time. What is the oil? Patchouli.
I was just waiting for it. I wasn't gonna let you just like. I wasn't gonna help you shit on me. I wasn't gonna do
Patchouli.
that.
You got the little douse of patchouli, not the full concentrate.
Yeah, you know, I mix it with a few other. Yeah.
You got the concentration in the pot.
I just
throw it on.
Open the foil, and then slap it on to me from there.
You know what? The first time, I don't know if I even told this on here, but the first time I experienced patchouli was like back in high school. And it was one of the hippie girls, and then it's like, what the fuck is that smell? Because it's like it was something that I didn't smell, and it is something like you kind of got to get used, like you kind of.
Oh yeah, no,
for a
it's
second,
kind of pungent.
And then you're like, oh, I kind of like this for
Yeah.
a little bit, because depending on what day it was, she would either wear too much or just the right amount. So then some days you'd be like, oh yeah, that smells good. Then other days, but god damn, I don't know what it is. But yeah, that was my first like taste of patchouli, and I had to ask, what the hell is that smell? But I did it in a nice way, because you know, I said, oh, I like that. I said, that's a unique fragrance. What is that? It's pretty. It's all right.
I haven't smelled this before. What are you?
And she was like, oh, it's patchouli. Super white lady dreads.
Yeah, that's actually what I say. Probably hacky sacking, listening to Dave Matthews.
I don't know if she fucked with Dave, but she definitely was a hacky sack.
Yeah,
for
bro.
sure. Jingle jeans all day.
All day.
All day. The floods on the bottom because she no shoes. She's walking around like, she got shoes on or she floating. That was my first experience with it. But yeah, you know, you can smell us like he said, and then you get to have a little time, and you get to get out. If you got kids, get away from the kids for a couple hours.
Yeah,
and
you
get
know.
home, you know. I definitely enjoyed the event. It was a nice like bump up into like, all right, I'll do this for a little bit longer instead of quit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we 80 episodes in, you know what I'm saying? It kind of gets like, it's hard work to try to figure out like, you know, weekly topics to try to be interesting, but you know.
Try to get together because we don't live in the same area.
Yeah,
we live contrasting schedules and lives, honestly. So, I mean, that's half the reason why we kind of been missing for the last couple of weeks. So we either weren't able to get together or in like a mixture of like focusing on the live episode.
Yeah, the first one, you know, now we kind of got a concept in a way that we're going to do the show. This first one was more or less like just nerves, like throwing too much into it. And because a lot of stuff that we were talking about doing kind of got thrown out as we started going.
Exactly.
The riffing that happens.
We didn't need it.
Yeah, you don't. When you can do it, you can do it. And it was like something that I was like, all right, we need all this extra content, extra this, and this, and trying to make it more seem like
We were prepared.
Yeah, I think we're over prepared. Well, shit, you were over prepared.
Oh, I always over prepare.
Yeah. So, but this next one coming up, we're gonna keep a couple concepts that we got into the live shows. If you wasn't there, we're not gonna let it slip. If you were there, you know what we're talking about.
Yup.
And then we might do a little bit of, you know, we got a little bit of merch. We might throw a little prize trivia out there as well. You know, we're
I
constantly.
thought you just said we weren't gonna like tell them anything, and
But
then
you know,
just
you gotta
like,
give them a little taste of it, because you know what I'm saying.
we might not do any of that
Even
shit.
a drug dealer be like, here, taste this crack. Let's see what happens when we come back. But yeah, so you know, keep an update. You know, subscribe to us on Instagram, Facebook. You know what I'm saying? To CrunkChocolate Personal. Mine's be coming soon. I'm gonna wait until I get this one event that I'm gonna go to, and then that'll be the day that I'll probably start posting some shit. But I still hate social media. But
Yes.
you know.
Yes. And just in general, we're about to start stepping up our YouTube channel game. You don't even know.
Oh yeah,
Big moves, big events, some fun things that are about to be happening.
Oh, this first one, it's gonna be very embarrassing for me, but you know what I'm saying, all for the cause.
Well, and honestly, him doing what he's did, it inspired me to kind of think of some other things. So I'm actually very much looking forward to what we got coming for you guys.
Yeah.
Other than the live event, how was your last week? How have you been? How are things?
Well, it's actually been pretty mild, you know. Got back into the work because I was down 2 weeks. I didn't work for 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know, because the wife went to Croatia.
Okay.
I don't know if I talked about that.
You mentioned that she was going
mentioned
to.
it. I mean, I was jealous getting the pictures because, you know what I'm saying, like, I did go to Italy and it was an amazing time, but, like, you know what I'm saying, I was still solo for most of it, you know what I'm saying, and I was there for a wedding, so everybody kind of had their, like, romantic couples, and they did all these different things, and then, you know, I was just walking around kind of, you know, by myself, sometimes with another person that was single there, solo, and, you know,
This is
we went
joy,
and
this is
saw stuff, hung out
summer.
with the bride, the groom, and the bride a little bit, but getting these pictures from what my wife did in Croatia, I was like, this is some bullshit. First of all, you know what I'm saying, they're doing they're doing paddleboard yoga. They're doing windsurfing.
Paddleboard yoga?
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even
That
mean?
means yoga out in the ocean on a paddleboard, and you gotta be having a strong core. Yeah, the shit was wild, son. The pictures was amazing.
Wow.
They did like this underground cave where this light, the sun and this light hits it, reflects so much that it makes it like an aqua blue.
Oh.
Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? They did that. They did like this hiking down a cliff to do like these rapids where they would just land on their bodies with these like suits on. Shit that you see in the movies that you be like, damn, that's like, you know, some Kardashian type trip shit, you know, personal chefing at the end of every day.
Oh, it's litty.
Hell yeah. I was like, man, this is some bullshit.
Fuck that Italian bullshit.
ATVs, they drove ATVs out in the country and shit, looking like bosses. I was like, yeah, I would have loved to do some shit like that. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, when I was talking to some of the homies in Italy, you know, I would have definitely went horseback riding with my chest out, drinking wine in Tuscany. You know what I'm saying? I would have did that, but you know.
Yeah, most of the things were kind of like couples based.
Yeah, it's all couple based in Italy.
Where what she was doing, it was like group,
Oh, this was
individual
girls'
based.
trip.
Yeah,
This was girls' fun
so
trip.
yeah, it wasn't necessarily romantic, and that Italy trip was based off of romanticism.
Yeah, the
where
Italy
that was
definitely was
where
based
Croatia
on-
was based off of adventure.
Yeah, it was definitely based on, yeah, she had an amazing time, and it was nice to see her come back after a week to decompress and get away from
Yeah.
badass kids. I know a lot of people probably be like, damn, this dude hates his kids. But if you gotta be honest, they get stressful, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, 4 of them.
Yeah, they got 4 of them, and it's not like one can help out yet. They're all very similar in age, and it's going to be shitty until about 16-year-old, and then that's just a whole nother set of
Problems.
struggles. And
Yeah.
problems, you know? But yeah, so you know, I getting back in the swing of things, going to work. You know, my mom moved in to, you know, help us out, or so you know, there's just been. Getting used to with her being there, trying to make sure she's happy and stuff. But now I'm like, yo, you got a car, you can do whatever you want. You know, you can cook whatever you want, eat whatever you want. You're just gonna have to do it yourself. I'm not gonna be like, you know, I can't just carry you everywhere.
Yeah.
So getting used to that, but too much, you know, just getting back in the swing of things, back to adulting.
Mm.
It was a nice change. It was a nice little change up when going having these live shows. But that's all I really did.
Yeah, and after the live show, I actually had a little food pilot shoot. So shout outs to Ria Varner. I'm so sorry if I say your last name wrong. I listened to you say it like a million times to try to like hopefully say it right, and I'm sure I didn't. And then shout outs to Aaron and Kirk Hansen and Joe T. And the shoot was amazing. It lasted like 8.5 hours long. I mean, I'm always told that any kind of like movie show shoots and stuff like that take a long time. A lot of it is like sitting around and preparing.
Oh yeah, you want to see what it is because you're going to be the cameraman for this upcoming thing we're about to be doing.
Hey,
for
it's
YouTube.
lit.
So you got to have a little bit of more knowledge about how to cut this shit and get this shit
Editing? Well, honestly, I've been
how many takes we need
I have
to
been
do?
practicing and stuff like that. I mean, technically, the takes is as many as you can get. Your boy with lines in front of a camera, and then what to do after you say those lines. I'm awkward as fuck. Like I cannot
They
wait.
heard you reading on the podcast. Bro. They know.
Reading is one thing. Like just like it was everything. It was how do you stand? Because you have to like face the camera but not look at the camera, but also talk to the person. Like there were way too many things that I had to think of, and I am the type where I get in my head too, so it was not the best combination.
Yeah.
But luckily,
Get built for it, baby.
yeah, bro. Yeah, I know. The more I do it, the more comfortable I'll get in front of it. But everybody else was like way better than I was, so that was the good thing. That everybody seemed way more comfortable. They were having a good time. The food was delicious. Oh my god! And so I'm just looking forward to seeing all that. I have a couple of more pilot shoots that I got working on, so that's been fun. Got a lot of things actually that working on. All this is just fucking inspiration. And then I got friends doing like stupid dumb things right now. It's cancer season. Forgot all about that, so baby. So it's cancer. Shout out here. Oh, we out here. We out here. We out here. So living our best lives right now.
Nobody gives a shit about the signs until it's their signs. It's like everybody got to make a big deal when their sign comes around. Leo in this bitch.
Hey.
Lions.
We don't give a fuck about you guys. You have next month. Your time is coming up.
That's what I'm
Your
saying.
time is coming up.
You don't hear shit about nothing.
Because there's no need to talk about you guys because it's not your time yet.
I know, but sometimes people incorporate it every day. Like, ooh, you a cancer. Ooh, hot headed. Ooh, I see it. No, it's more or less like whenever it comes around, that's when people get extra. Go ahead and get your hypeness on.
Hey, it's lit. And then so, July 20th is my birthday. It's coming up. There are a few things that are going on around the city. The festival, the home brewers event. Hopefully there's a birthday concert. Hopefully someone, wink wink, is setting that stuff up. You know who I'm talking to. And yeah, I'm just excited. It's officially summer, the summer solstice. That was a beautiful day. Ended up just like relaxing at the end of the night on my porch with the dog. It was nice. It was good. It was good. But let's get into the shits.
Well, I'll start off with the bullshit that I saw.
Hey.
It's not even bullshit, but basically I saw the advertisement for that TV show Euphoria.
That's that Zendaya show, right?
It's there on HBO on Sunday nights. Whatever.
Oh, no, that's it.
You really don't even need to know. Just, you watch it whenever you want to watch it, with the streaming.
Yeah.
But then I was watching the TV show, and it's your typical, like, teenage drug, sex, adversity,
Wait, teenagers do drugs and have sex?
Yeah, the normal shit.
What?
But it was an interesting look because how they made the show, they're talking about teenagers now. And you know what I'm saying? And if you're a teenager now, you might understand a little bit more, but me being so far removed from it and not really thinking about it, I didn't realize some of the set of problems that come with being teenagers now with the social media. That's a recurring theme on the show, especially with me, is like how fucked up social media can be. And the show is basically based off of Zendaya, and she's come back out of rehab between her junior and senior year or some shit like that, some between some year, and she just was in for pills and different things. And there was two things that kind of stood out for me for the first episode. The first one was when she talked about, three actually. The first one was when she talked about the first time she ever had taken pills, and she was having a panic attack, and then they took her to the hospital. She said she was 11 years old, and in the hospital.
Goddamn, 11?
Yeah, 11. She had a panic attack at 11 years old. Took her to the hospital, and then the first time they gave her some Valium, and it calmed her down. And she said, "This was the moment that I knew this is the feeling that I wanted to have," because she was like very OCD person, anxiety type of person, and the first hit of a pill at 11 years old, I'm like, God damn, they made like they wanted to give kids like that strong of a narcotic at 11 years old, and that is something that's generally in the norm now.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's kind of messed up that that's the first thing that we went straight to. Let's medicate this person to get them calmed down instead of try to give them the breathing exercises and different ways to do it naturally in your body before you get like this drug in you. So that was like, you know what? Now I can kind of see, you know, with all these pills and anxiety now, children see this stuff and then they get curious and, you know, starting at whatever age, you get onto that and that feeling is nothing but like a euphoria, like the TV show said.
Oh, and, I see what they did there.
And then you just spiral down because it's hard to break an addiction once you start it. The earlier you start, I think, is the harder it's going to be to break it.
Yeah.
That was the first thing. I was like, you know what? That's crazy that, you know, the pills and just some, it's like naturally in houses of everybody, you know? And then the second thing, which made me like, all right, this is a totally different time. They had like this scene where they were talking about, you know, all these kids was on the floor and they were doing like an active school shooters scene, you know, what to do with an active school shooter. They had the lights low, lock the doors. And I'm like, you know what, that's fucked up that they gotta also worry about that as well. Even though like the chances of it is maybe not gonna be there so high, but it's still like in the media and everything where you do have to worry about that.
But I mean, it's no different. Growing up, we would do those like fire and tornado drills, which the tornado drill was, hey, lean up against a locker and a ball and cover your neck so you don't get all sliced up.
Yeah, but coming from living in Iowa, the tornado drill is something that, you know, shit, tornadoes here all the time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, necessarily, they don't have to worry about tornado drills, but they do have to worry about a shooter in the school.
Yeah, and so I was like, you know, that's kind of another thing that's kind of fucked up about it is that, like, they have to worry about that now, you know what I'm saying? Because I never once thought, even after when I was there when Columbine happened and I was trying to get a little
still.
I still wasn't like, you know what, I gotta worry about this active shooter.
Honestly, a lot of it was kind of like jokes. I mean, not like jokes, but like jokes. Because it's just like, because it seemed like that was like a one-off. It really was, yeah.
It seemed like fantasy. And then the third thing that was kind of interesting because, you know, we do it as an adult nowadays, but they were talking about how all these pictures get sent around like nudes.
Yeah.
And it was like, and the way that she explained it on there was like, you know, you stop shaming us, and you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like currency. It's kind of like your value almost for teenagers, especially when you're in a relationship, is like proving your love for someone. And you know, people are dumb. And, you know, you do get very infatuated with certain people at certain times that you can mistake it as love.
Yeah.
You know, it's more lust than love, and then you do these things for each other to make happy. But then the thing is, you just got to find that one person that's going to be more respectful than anything.
Yeah, and that's a little difficult at that age.
It's super difficult.
What I liked about, because I haven't seen Euphoria yet, but I've heard that whole like them explaining why people their age send nudes, and it really is, they don't have that like body shame stigma, so that's why the whole idea of sending nudes really isn't a problem. The whole problem with nudes getting leaked isn't that they shouldn't be sending it, it's that the person should respect you in your body enough. And like that was the angle that they went at in Euphoria. It's just like, the problem isn't the fact that we're sending the nudes, it's the fact that someone doesn't respect your body enough to like respect it, that if something, yeah, exactly. And so I was just like, oh shit, way to flip it. Because I mean, yes, it's kids sending naked pictures of each other, so that's not good. But like they don't have like that body shame for us. Like,
it was one funny part about it since you brought that up, kids and news.
Yeah.
One girl got like a video leaked of her, and then she went to the person that she kind of knew that leaked the video, and she was like, "You're sending child pornography." He's like, "I am a child too, though."
Yeah, right.
He was like, she's like, Google it. And he was like, I'm not Googling child pornography. That's funny. You gotta set your ass up. I was like, hell no. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's all I was gonna say. It's just like in the end, it's like what I like about that show is it's really trying to show understanding, because it's even just like the addiction. Her addiction to pills came from being so overwhelmed by life that she finally wasn't overwhelmed, and she just wanted to feel that feeling again. That's it. That's specifically it. She didn't become addicted to drugs. She was partying with friends, or it was like slipped into her drink. She literally just didn't want to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah, and then there's some other shit in the show that like exacerbated the situation.
Yeah.
So
I mean, life.
Well, there's one.
Yeah.
Well, this part of life is like you're gonna have to watch it if you want to watch it. It's a pretty decent show from the beginning. You know, it's the same shit that you've seen. It's just written a different way.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to kind of modernize things, because you don't really know.
Yeah, I
until you know.
definitely was like, I've been far removed for almost 12 years now, probably even more shit, like 15 or 16 years as a teenager back, you know, from high school and all that shit and navigating through that. You know, we had the biggest scandal we had is like, you know, calling someone a slut.
Right?
Pretty much. Someone slut. She's a slut.
The first girls to start wearing like bras are like I remember the Degrassi episode when Manny wore a G-string. Like that was like the craziest thing was that Manny was wearing a G-string and everyone could see, and she had her like this string sticking out of her pants.
What?
Yeah, like that was like I remember that being like the most intense like sexual thing. So like things evolve. It gets crazier.
It is. I don't know. It is crazy. I'm scared.
Well, and speaking of scared, I know how scared you were about Space Jam 2 and how that was going to end up. I know how worried you were about them not being able to fill out the cast because they were struggling about that because we talked about that earlier.
I don't know. I thought it, personally, I didn't. I knew it was going to come together. As soon as somebody said LeBron was thinking about doing Space Jam 2, I was like, oh yeah,
It's going to figure it out. So apparently they filled out the staff. So the Ryan Coogler will be the producer, and then the TV show Random's Acts of Flyness, Terrence Nance will be the director of it. So it's going to be beautifully shot, beautifully recorded. We don't have to worry about that. So it'll be LeBron James with his brand new LA teammate Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Klay Thompson, especially because he now has time on his hands, Chris Paul, and then the WNBA great, Diana Taurasi. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but you should if you truly are a fan of basketball. The Ogwumike sisters, Nneka and Chinny. Thank you, appreciate you. And then they both play for the LA Sparks. Yeah. So he's kind of brilliant for taking over, because most of these players that play on the west side of the country anyway, so they don't have to really worry about traveling for filming. And then they still really haven't announced anything about the plot. So
whenever there's a remake, everybody get all up in the arms and shit because of the nostalgia reasons. And recently, I did watch Space Jam again.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's definitely.
It's such a bad movie.
It's terrible.
It's such a bad movie.
He loved so much.
Hey.
He took his terrible acting and created a basketball game that we was fully invested in.
Like they basically. They did the whole like Terminator thing with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like they tried to keep his words and sentences to a minimal, so because they knew that neither of them could act, but they drew like they had that star power.
It is definitely funny, but it is, and that's the thing about, especially about remakes now, because it's so writers driven, and it's so they want to make the content stand out, and they want to make the visuals appealing. Because if you're making a movie now for millions of dollars, you got a studio hand back. There's no reason why this shit has to be like visually unappealing, and that's what I think the movie's going to be decent. Even if you don't like the acting and everything or the story plot of it, you're going to see some cool shit. Like you're going to see some shit like The Matrix when you first started. Like, wow, they slowed it down. The bullets.
That shit was intense.
I know, but if you go back and look at it
watch it now, it's bad.
You'd be like,
and even like the story of itself makes no sense, and it's a hot mess.
Somebody told me that they're going to be remaking that whole trilogy again too.
I did hear that.
Yeah, but I'm not for sure because they used to be brothers, now they're the Wachowskis.
Well, I don't get. Like, leave stuff alone. Like, the movie theaters right now. What, like, it literally looks like a flashback. There's, like, The Bride of Chucky. Fucking toy. The Chucky movie. We have not Space Jam.
Aladdin.
We have Aladdin. We have Toy Story. Yeah, like, they're, like, all the movies that are out right now are just, like, remakes. You're just, like, I get it.
Oh, I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
See, I don't. I just want original, and I get original content doesn't always make the money like it should, but that's because we have trained ourselves to not like those movies. Like like they started making all these big movies because they realized people pay money and then they go to it, but every now and then you would still get that like indie side movie where like you would get splashed from that, and now you're not even getting that anymore.
I guess I like it because it's more like I experienced it as a little kid, and then it's like now that I have children around the same age of like can understand the concept of movies and going to the movies and sitting through. It's kind of cool to go back and have a movie night on a Friday night and be like the week before I'm like, hey, let's watch these few movies that come out, and then we're gonna go watch the new one, and then that gets them excited, and then it's like a throwback, and then we get in the feels of Toy Story when they're getting thrown away or something, and then he loses his toy, and then they kind of understand that concept. So that's what I kind of like, is that we get to live it, and then we get to show our children, and then they can live through it as much as we did. But there's some of them that we watched that I'm like, yo, I didn't like. Dumbo, I didn't like them. Well, I didn't like Dumbo the animated from the beginning, so that's a different for me. I thought Dumbo movie was kind of trash, but I know people would. But yeah, I didn't fuck with the Dumbo shit. But Toy Story 4, Lion King, we're definitely going to see those.
Well, I've heard I will go see those. So I mean, obviously there's like pick and choose, but when every single movie looks like we're in '95 now because of it, like that, it's kind of jarring. It's just like, come on, man. Like, I know there are all these people trying hard, and I know just gotta look harder. But we shouldn't have to wait till like the quote unquote festivals tell us to start watching some kind of like small film type of thing.
Yeah, but see, what the difference I guess would be because of the streaming platform and the different avenues of things that you can do, like video on demand and IFC, you don't really have, like, you can go through, navigate through yourself because like Midsummer is a movie that I'm going to be watching as soon as it come out, and it's about the same guy who did Hereditary, which is a horror film, and it was fucked up.
Oh, that shit looks crazy.
You know what I'm saying? There's original concepts like that.
Yes.
It's just like, you know, they're not gonna market that to the mainstream people because, you know, it's something that's a kind of
people who
it's
hear
like
about it will look
stuff.
for it. Yeah.
So, you know, the stuff that it's in the theaters is basically like big studios trying to make money and get their stuff back. But if you're a person that's content driven and you want storytelling, there's movies out there. You know, they're not gonna be publicized as much unless you're like a Jordan Peele and it's something just like catches fire.
Yeah.
Because Get Out was never publicized like that until people started watching.
Yeah, until it started making all the money.
The second movie got promoted way more than what his first movie did because off the strength of the back of him. So that's what
off the strength.
Like. Yeah, you know. But there's a lot of shit out there if you want to go waste your money and drink some beers in the comfy chairs in the movie theater, which I'm all for.
Which I'm all for, but I'd much rather just do those things at home and just wait the like 8 months, and then it's 3 months if the movie's like popular. Like the way that it used to work is a movie would come out and then you have to wait a whole year for it to come out, and then now they're just like, oh, is this successful? We need to quickly get this out, and then so you can then buy it, and then they have it streaming, and they'll bring it back like they're bringing back Avengers because they want to break the all-time record that Avatar set. So they're bringing it back for like one more week, and then they're gonna have like 20, 30 extra minutes of like cut footage or something like that. Or no, actually, I lie. It's not even that. They're just adding extra end scenes.
Yeah. Well, whatever it is, you know, people are gonna be about it.
Oh, most definitely.
They're gonna watch it for sure. But
yeah, I'm not. Have you ever gone and seen? Have you ever went to see a movie twice at a movie theater?
I think maybe once, and that was because I watched it and then my kid wanted to watch it.
Okay.
But like me going to see a movie like, you know, when the Star Wars fandom back in the day.
Yeah, or even
like
the now when they came out, people went and saw it,
Like 2 times I can understand if you're watching it by yourself and you're going to watch it with someone else. Past that is like, I don't know if I have that much of a perception about anything to be like, you know what, besides like food or candy, and you know. But I don't know. I'm not going to go do that.
Yeah, that's
I'll
not really me either.
And if I like it, I might go again with like a family member, friend, and then I might buy it, and then it's on. You know what I'm saying? Because I've watched like Friday like 50 times. You know what I'm saying? I can quote that movie.
Well,
but going to the movie theaters, nah, bro, that's too much money. I'm too conservative with my money for that.
Hey, nothing wrong with
I
that.
do like the experience the first time going.
Yes.
And I'm all about doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about, hey, let's go to the movie theater, let's go. And a lot of people are like, no, it will cost too much. Nah, that's cool. I'll spend the 30, 40, whatever it is for the first time. But then after that, it gets...
Yeah, after that, I'm not doing... Yeah, exactly. I'll do it once. I'll support you, especially when it comes to the movies and stuff like that. I'll go and I'll visit, because I am also the type who gets, like, beers and shit like that. So, you know?
You know, and that's the interesting concept of it. Like, you know, the beers and stuff are super inflated. And you know, people are like, well, we got to pay for this. You know, I can buy a 6-pack if I buy 3 beers here, or like a third 12-pack.
I mean, and if you're smart and good enough, you might be able to sneak them in.
Yeah, but people do the same shit at baseball games, though.
Yeah.
And they're like super high priced.
Oh, bro.
People.
$10 for a beer at Busch Stadium kills me.
Yeah, but you still drink it, though.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you pregame hard. Yeah, you pregame hard so then you can just coast during the game.
Yeah.
That's a trick. Or, I mean, I guess you could just be sober, but who the fuck goes to a baseball game sober? Like, that is the literal worst.
Especially if they go into extra innings.
Like, just baseball in general, like, it's either you have to have people with you or you need to be drinking. It's one or the other, but preferably
it is definitely one of the most boring sports that I've been to.
Yeah, to watch live, like, yes,
it's fun.
It's fun, but it's only fun in these, like, moments.
And I'll tell you the truth, I had more fun walking around the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium than I did walking
That's a fun stadium, though.
Yeah, so, like, you know, going in there and then going and seeing all the bullshit that you can do around there, all the different food and drink combinations, you know, all the games that you can do with your kids or yourself if you want to get back in cages. So I had extremely more fun walking around than watching baseball. Not to shit on people who love baseball, but it's just too many games and too boring for me.
Yeah. Oh, side note, let's just completely change this up. I actually had a friend the other day tell me that they love your voice. They said that they wish you could start, like, reading books and recording so they could, like, go to sleep to that.
Voice.
Well, and that's what I told them. I was like, have you heard him talk?
Yeah,
like,
it's
what are you talking
terrible
about? Nah, they're like, nah, he needs to, like, lull me to sleep type of shit.
Yeah, it is a terrible voice what I sing. It's something too disgusting.
Hey!
And we have some guests.
Hey.
Is that done?
What?
Did we interrupt?
No, you're good. Well, I mean, we're recording, but this is part of the whole thing.
So we're recording live and down here at the Full Kit. We have some visitors.
Shoot that?
Yeah, so sites like GED Match and Family Tree are known for helping you find out about your relatives and your ancestors, but there have been a new and controversial way to use your DNA has suddenly appeared. To solve major violent crimes or identify bodies using genetic genealogy. See? My handwriting. Using genetic genealogy, they're about to solve a 40-year-old case of the Golden State Killer. Basically, in the 70s and 80s, he was tied to 13 murders and as many as 50 sexual assaults. Known in the times to even, like, reach back out to call the surviving victims. Before the cold case investigator of the Golden State Killer retired, he used an alias and sent in some of the killer's DNA to a public database for genealogy enthusiasts. And so it took a couple of months, and basically they found out who the DNA belonged to. And it belonged to a 72-year-old retired police officer, James D'Angelo. And then they took a fresh DNA sample to him, and it matched. So they basically found the Golden State Killer through, and the site, this was before even Family Tree, they sent it to basically just an open forum of people who are, like, genealogy experts. And they go, here's the DNA, here's the information, can you guys do something with this? And just people loving everything, they went for it. And then they were able to find out the Golden State Killer.
You know, funny thing is I was watching a documentary about, like, those different times from way back in the day, and they were talking about, you know, being able to solve these extra crimes now. That it was about, like, Jack the Ripper from London Times. So, like, you know, that is an interesting concept. It's one of those things, like, do we really need, like we get to the point of after they got away, like the Zodiac Killer, you know. Do people, well, obviously the victims want to know.
Yes.
It's so far along. I think it's just one of those things that we're so inherently like stuff, like murdering things, that we think about this stuff a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
But it is a cool concept.
Yeah.
Using my DNA.
And so the company was called, that he sent the information out to, was GED Match.
GED Match?
GED Match.
GED Match.
Yeah, and then just, like, genetics. And then so his name is Curtis Rogers. He's the president and CEO of GED Match. And when he was notified how it helped catch the Golden State Killers, he was upset, but only the reason why he was upset is because he wasn't sure if it invades the user's privacy. And that the user's privacy was used for something other than almost like connecting with themselves.
Yeah, that's the issue we're gonna have, is just the privacy issue.
Yeah, so he did update the policies and told the users that they can withdraw their DNA samples if they want to, but if they stay in it, then type of thing, then they kind of know what they're into.
concept. That's definitely an interesting concept.
23andMe and Ancestry.com, they're public, so you don't have really much of a choice as to if it's okay or not.
So you're saying that like they can use my DNA to see if I did committed crimes later on?
Yes, but not necessarily even that. It's that they will use your DNA to be like, hey, this DNA matches, like you have similar DNA type archetypes in your chromosomes. So from there, they might be able to tie you to like a cousin or a nephew or an uncle of yours with the same DNA.
Same technology, bro.
Because so it's almost like you have a wide light shedded now, and then you just whittle it down the DNA till you get closer to the person, and then from there, once you're just like, hey, we have this DNA, and it's up to basically these 4 people. So basically, it'll be like if a mom and a dad had like kids, and so they're just like, all right, it's down to 4 of these kids. We have it narrowed down. So then they'll take the DNA of all 4 of those kids because of like one of you guys are the murderer.
Well, there you go. The original concept of the movie.
Right?
And then you can use all like the privacy laws and all that.
Hey, hold on. Let's Stuck in the Middle presents. This is our first movie. Hey, Tyler Perry Studios started somehow. That's how we're gonna start.
We're gonna start making like over the top corny plays, and then just get it put on.
Hey, we could easily make that super dramatic too.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I do like that. I would watch that documentary if they did that, especially if they did somebody like that.
Well, I mean, they
did.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and I know a little bit more, and then they totally have found about 35 other, they've solved about 35 other murder cases thanks to all of that. Yeah, I mean, basically in its own little way.
In this little way, that's crazy.
I also wanted to talk about the Bernie and the student loan forgiveness.
Okay.
In general, how do you feel about that?
You already know how I feel. I got student loans. I want my shit forgiven. So, yeah, I'm all about the forgiveness.
Well, good. I'm happy you.
To a certain point, like I've said on this plenty of times, I think that since the banks and everything were so, like, I think since the banks and everything was so kind of like fraudulent from the beginning part, and they didn't really get the concept of telling us, okay, these loans are like this, and raising the interest rate and doing all these different things and making it so hard for loan forgiveness. I think it's something pretty cool that, you know, we can do to a certain point. I think in 2008, with the crashing of the economy back then, I assume that anybody from 2008 that still has student loan debts going back should get their stuff forgiven. That's what I personally feel. I think after 2008, they were more or less giving you more awareness and having an eye-opening experience about the student loan crisis and everything. So if you got stuck and lulled up in it after 2008, I think that's a little bit on your own fault. They made it actually even harder for people to get loans, especially like middle class during that time. So it was like kind of one of those things where you didn't get caught up in that. Because I had friends that took like classes and they couldn't get loans, so they had to work a little extra. They had to do this little extra. So now I'm all about the forgiveness until a certain point. Like everybody, no. To a certain point, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Bernie bandwagons and both the Liz gang, they each have their own set of student loan forgiveness, so I kind of will go over it. Bernie announced his last week. Elizabeth Warren has announced her policy on it a while ago. So a general overview of Bernie. He has he believes four-year public colleges and community colleges, including the tuition and fees, should be free for everybody. Federal student loan interest, he thinks those rates should be lowered, and the federal government shouldn't profit on student loans, which duh. And then, so his new announcement that I was talking about was to forgive and wipe out $1.76 trillion in student debt. Trillion. That's how much student debt there is. And this is just one country. That's insane. So Bernie says that we can expect to raise more than $2 trillion in the next 10 years. And the way that he wants to do this student forgiveness plan is to tax Wall Street financial transactions. I wrote transitions. I'm stupid. The transactions. And I know people always complain, why are they always trying to tax the rich or whatever? But this is a very specific type of rich. And it's based off of 0.5% fee on all stock trades, 0.1% fee on all bond trades, and a 0.005% fee on any derivative trades. So it's a very small amount, a very small charge, because most trade fees, if you ever do any, and this is without any assistance from a broker, it's anywhere between $4.95 and $6.95, and that's on like Fidelity and E-Trade and Merrill Lynch and stuff like that. And then if you have a broker assist you on a trade, that's anywhere between $20 and $50 a stock. And then the mutual fund trades, those are anywhere between $9.95 and $50. So if you're paying those, and that's just a straight up fee. So it doesn't matter if your trade is $5, it doesn't matter if your trade is like $50. So the percentage fee really only affects you once you start doing hundreds of thousands and $1 million in trades.
Okay.
That's really only significant. But I mean, if you're just like the everyday person, like me, not Fat Boy. Fat Boy's balling. He's got like cable and multiple cars and shit like that. He's living that high life. But you know, those like $10 charges and stuff like that, I would be willing to pay a 0.1%, 0.5% fee on like a $10, $50 trade, because like what the fuck is that? I'm not even gonna really do that math. It's like 5-10 cents again. I'm not sure if that math holds up, but it's not that much. So Elizabeth Warren, she has her own student debt plan, which she wants to cancel all student loan debt for about 95% of the people who will borrow money. Sanders' plan covers everybody, so that's kind of like the difference. Elizabeth's plan is to cancel $50,000 in student loan debt for a household income under $100,000, and then provide substantial debt cancellation for any household income between $100,000 and $250,000. So there won't be any taxes to take out of people, because Elizabeth Warren just wants to cancel out the loans in general. So basically she believes that there shouldn't be any debt, so canceling out the debt, it's not really affecting someone. Where Bernie is like, this money is out in the world, so it does need to be replaced.
So what are you saying? Who do you like on paper? Just a snapshot, what would you say?
Well, I technically will say Elizabeth's, because I kind of agree that we shouldn't be charged in the first place. And I will say that technically it only covers like the general everyday person, because if you went to a private school and you took out student loan debt, you have to apply to be eligible for the cancellation. And
under,
what do you mean?
who do you say you got?
If you went to like a private school.
Under Bernie.
Sorry, under Elizabeth's.
Okay.
Under Elizabeth's. And this is also under Elizabeth's. The reason she basically wants to wipe this debt, and the way that she could like facilitate to make it happen quickly is to use data and income that we already have available that we gave for our income tax. So that way they can instantly just get into the government, get that information, and be like, all right, this is how much money you made, this is how much will be wiped off immediately. Whereas Bernie's, I would assume that would take some time to kind of figure out what to do and where to go. Household, this is more still about Warren. Household incomes of $250,000 a year wouldn't get the student loan forgiveness, because to Warren, they're in the top 5% of earners. And then
I'm with Bernie.
and then for those who make more than $100,000, basically there will be a phase out based on your income. So you'll lose $1 of the $50,000 student loan forgiveness for every $3 you make over $100,000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Nowadays, I'm not saying that that's not a lot of money. It's like, I don't know who would be a little bit better. The only thing I hear about Bernie that I didn't like, because he does actually have a plan on making the money, and then it's like nothing. Like, it could be a phase out. I'm not for sure exactly how, these are all on paper and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't believe that everybody should go to college. It's just something that shouldn't happen. I mean, there's people that like just wouldn't strive in this, so then you're just making a spot for something. Like, you're just like, okay, go to college and try it out. You're still gonna pay these other people to do these jobs. I mean, like teaching everything and have these facilities running. Everybody don't deserve to go to college. Everybody don't want to go to college. So like, I think there should be like a test or something like they do over in England. they gotta have a test. You score a certain percentage high on the test, depending on if you get hired colleges and different things. But you know,
I mean, couldn't they do that with the ACT and SATs?
Yeah,
I mean, they basically
yeah,
do,
they
that,
do that.
but that's also based off of like scholarships and stuff that you get.
I'm saying that like everybody don't need to go to college.
Oh no, we're agreeing. I mean, we're agreeing.
We're doing the
we
test.
have agreed. Yeah.
We're doing a test, but even with the ACT, like they let you do it so many times, and after a while, you know, it's like one of those tests you can remember like the same questions and do good on it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, worst case, they should just, if they do that, and what you're saying, they should just average the score type of thing.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But then I'm not gonna lie, I kind of phased out on everything you said about Elizabeth Warren, except for the little percentage of whatever get phased out. I'm not quite understanding how they would instantly get rid of the.
I mean, it wouldn't be instant, but it would. I would assume it'd be faster because they would just go through our tax information because that's how you. That's you every year you put in how much money you make.
Yeah.
So,
Are they saying? So are they saying? I guess what I'm asking is like, so they're going to use your tax instead of paying the government, they're going to pay off the student loans.
no, how they figure out how much money you should be forgiven for.
Oh, okay.
They use your tax information.
Okay.
So you can't just be like, yes, I make less than $100,000. Forgive all my loans. They'll be like, no, you seriously made $130,000 last year, so now you can only get $40,000. So this is the best. So it almost kind of like keeps people honest. And then
Okay.
it also says, so people who make more than $250,000, you still have to pay your loans back. So therefore, there is still money being paid back, but it's people who's paying the money
Yeah,
back
I
in
guess.
theory afford it.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. I guess that's not bad. Yeah, it's one of those things. It sounds good on paper. The execution is it going to be there? For
Yes, it's good to get an understanding of it for now, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And speaking soccer, but I'm actually going to not talk about Man City. I'm going to talk about the Women's World Cup that's going on right now. If you guys are aware of it, we're now in the quarterfinals. It's the round of 8. We're in the knockout round. Norway is playing England. France is playing the United States. Italy is playing Netherlands, and Germany is playing Sweden. And the United States, we are the #1 ranked team in the world. We have been for the longest. We won the last World Cup. We should win, but it is in France right now. And whenever you are the host team, your team instantly gets like a bid. But France, they're the 4th best team for the ranked 4th. So they're not the 4th best, but they're ranked 4th in the world. So even if they weren't like automatically in the tournament, I would assume that they would be able to make it. The women's team, they play tomorrow, so if you guys are free tomorrow, I believe the game's at 2, please watch it and support our women's team. The women have won the World Cup 3 times, where the men's team has never won it. The women's team seems to be more popular. More people seem to know the players on the team, and the women's team, they're more like open. They talk about policies and how we should feel in the world significantly more than the men's team does. And I'm actually here to kind of talk about the pay disparity. Megan Rapinoe, her and Trump are having a little Twitter beef right now because before the World Cup even started, they were doing a photo shoot for the World Cup, and they asked Megan Rapinoe, one of our wingers for the U.S. women's team, if they would go to the White House if they won it. And she said, no, I wouldn't go because he doesn't really care about strong women. He's not a good guy. Like, why would we go? That's not a good look for us. And he naturally was just like, no one even cares about what you even say, Megan Rapinoe. And besides, I have unemployment in blacks, the lowest it's ever been. That was his tweet transition. He basically told Rapinoe to shut up and then started talking about how unemployment in blacks is super low. So does he think Megan Rapinoe's a black woman? Which she's not, but even so, like, why does that even have to do with soccer? Anywho, I digress. The U.S. women's national team, they're currently engaged in a gender discrimination lawsuit against the United States Soccer Federation. And the reason why they're suing them is because the men's soccer team, they make $100,000 at the minimum, but up to $263,000 if they win 20 friendly matches, Whereas the women's side, if they win those 20 international friendly matches, which they normally do, they can make up to $99,000. So even at the best, they can't even make as much as the U.S. men's team at the worst. And again, the women's team is significantly more successful. So the U.S. Soccer Federation, they don't even dispute that the male and female players aren't paid equally, but all they say is that the pay is different pay structure for performing different work. So they're saying that the men's and the women's, they perform different work, but in the end, it's all football. And then another example is in 2015, when the women's won the World Cup and the men's team didn't even make the World Cup. When the women did win, they made $2 million. The U.S. men's, who again didn't even qualify for the World Cup, if they made it and they got knocked out of the first round, they would have made $8 million. So they would have made $8 million, the 4 times the amount if they were losers, as opposed to the women's side and they're winners. So it's just another example as where our country has let women down. In this sense, it's our national team. So now they're letting our nation down. And so I love how the U.S. women's team, they've been very outward, transparent, open about how upset they are about everything. There are a couple of players who actually, like Hope Solo is in a separate lawsuit against them, and she actually hasn't played for the women's team ever since she did that. So she basically has Colin Kaepernick herself out of it. And then there is also another player, I believe, on the Sweden team, like one of their lead strikers, that she didn't play because of the pay discrepancy. So it's we have, like, truthfully and honestly, the women's side should not have played. Like, that's the biggest way to kind of like show their defiance. But also, they want to show us, the young women growing up, like how amazing and how powerful, how great athletes they can be, how you can basically go out and prove that you deserve to get the pay. So it was kind of like a difficult thing for them to decide what to do, because in order to like truly get your way, like them being like, hey, we're not playing anymore, that would work. That'd be the best.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's for sure. They definitely deserve to get paid more than when they're getting paid, especially for how successful you are. But I guess to play the devil's advocate, I would say that they're paying athletes and they're going off the pay from the advertising dollars and all the other stuff that goes into paying. Yeah, but they're not. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
If that's what they're going off of, they're like, well, hey, men bring in more revenue than women sports, so that's why we can pay men more. I would want to see the numbers on that, just because the women's are more successful in soccer than men.
Yeah. And
see if it's truly like that, or if it's just something that they can set. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would want to see the numbers of attendance. I want to see the advertising dollars spent on this. I want to see how many jerseys got sold.
Well, in theory though, but the women's, they play more. They play in more tournaments. They play longer. So in theory, you would be putting more advertisement dollars onto the women's, because the men's team didn't even make the World Cup. So that's a huge chunk of revenue that we should have been making and stuff like that. And I totally get that. Like, let's compare the money that's being made, but also you can't argue with success though. That's kind of like the biggest thing.
Yeah, I guess you can't argue with success. I'm not arguing with it at all. I don't want to get killed in any way. Even if I think that a high school boys team can beat a professional women's soccer team, that's just an opinion that I don't know if I have. But still, in general, I don't know. But you know, it's getting a little out there, and we're not going to get in this argument. And we did just come back to have a quick little show to, let us know we're still here, we're still going.
Don't forget about us. We'll be back.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up and do some songs of the week real quick.
Hey.
And I'm gonna start off first, because since I am going to the concert in 2 weeks, I'm gonna play a Johnnyswim song.
Hey, some beautiful Johnnyswim music.
Yeah, some beautiful Johnnyswim music. And this is off their newest album, Moonlight. If you ever want to listen to, this is called The Last Time, featuring a classic hero, Michael McDonald.
Michael McDonald?
Michael McDonald.
Say hi, Bryce. Say hi, Bryce. Mitchell, that's more dangerous than just walking.
It's funny.
You guys, are
Yeah,
you still recording? Oh, jeez.
it's fine.
Okay, I got one. I'm gonna do one last time. Come on, Goofy. We're ready.
What's wrong with your ears? Your ears and ow. Let's get your baby doll.
Where's the one?
Hi, Rachel.
You and your life shoes, those girls.
Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes or 30 minutes. They gotta come on. Throw it back on.
Oh, you're wrong. Thank you. Will you show off your rock? She washed her face, feet, and hands and said, okay, let's go.
No, but she's on the road. Just she wants some.
Come on. Why are you saying your ear hurts? I hope it doesn't. Right? Yeah. Say bye-bye.
This is nice, you're kind of saying bye now.
See you guys.
See ya.
Come on, baby, we're gonna go play.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
And yeah, that was Johnnyswim going out to see him in Des Moines at Woolies July 9th. If anybody want to come, it is a great concert. They do put on a fantastic show. This is the third time I've seen them live. Moonlight is their album. We did that.
Well, you basically a stan now.
Oh yeah, I'm a stan. And it's good music. I think it's a good like couples type of music. So yeah, that was.
Hey, it wasn't. Oh,
Last
never mind.
time.
I was gonna say, didn't you have a baby that last concert you guys went to at
She was
Johnnyswim?
pregnant at the time.
Oh, okay.
And what's your song of the week?
So mine is producer producer Mura Masa, and then the artist's name is Judah Hart. The song is called "You Never Call Me." I'm a Cancer. I've been in my feels right now, so this song kind of like nails it.
Write down the topics list. I'll write it down.
Hey, seriously though, why you never call me? So that's Jadu Hart
A little intense.
and Muramasa. Yeah, but it's all vibey and cool. It's like it's a oh well, yeah.
That's why they never called you.
So go ahead, and if you have any comments, concerns, positives, negatives, love, hate, questions, if you just even want to like just talk, you can email us at stuckinthe.middlepodcast1@gmail.com. Go ahead and follow us on our Facebook page, Fat Boi and CrunkChocolate. Follow us on our Instagram account, the Stuck in the Middle Instagram account. It's Stuck in the Middle Podcast. You can follow me personally on my Instagram at CrunkChocolate, CrunkChocolate. If anybody's listening on Apple, if you guys wouldn't mind giving us a little rating, you don't even have to give us a little quip, a little writing about us, but if you do, that is appreciated. Every vote and rating we get, it moves us up. It becomes a little easier for it to find us when you type in stuck in the middle. And at first, you couldn't really find us. Now, when you start typing in stuck in the, like, we actually pop up there. So it's getting really exciting.
And as always, when it comes to life, we live to the fullest.
Uh-huh.
When it comes to this podcast, we speak the realest.
Yo.
Until next time, we are stuck in the middle.
Hey, July 18th.
Oh, dude ain't mad.
Oh, no, he didn't care. That's what I went over there to check. He was just like, we're not making any noise, are you? And I was like, no, I'm coming over here to make sure everything's okay. He was like, no, I don't care. I don't know he doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's still like making sure.
Yeah. I was just saying, I was like, yeah, we run a little bit late. Nobody ever comes down to this downtown and be like waiting for a store to open up.
No one doesn't. Well, and that's why when someone was walking up, I was like, man, they're super early. And then the door opened. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I knew it from the beginning.
And then it even took him a moment to realize us. That's why he was just like, oh. That was funny.
It was funny. His daughter, wow, and she's running through the camera.
Yeah, Piper, she's hilarious. Right? It was almost like she knew the camera was there. She was just like, I want to get right in front.